Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, staring down at a vast, uncharted valley below. The wind howls around you, carrying whispers of doubt, comparison, and distraction. You feel the weight of the world pulling you in every direction, other people's opinions, endless notifications, the pressure to be someone you're not. You want to leap to chase the life you've always dreamed of, but something holds you back. Fear, uncertainty, the noise. Now imagine silencing it all. Imagine turning inward, focusing on the one thing you can control: yourself. That's where your power lies. That's where your future begins. And that's what this speech is about. How focusing on yourself can transform your life in ways you never thought possible. Let me ask you something. What's stopping you from living the life you want? If you're like most people, your mind is racing with answers. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's fear of failure or what others will think. But let's get real for a moment. The biggest thing holding you back isn't external. It's not your circumstances, your bank account, or the opinions of others. It's where you're choosing to place your focus. Most people spend their days obsessing over everything except themselves. They're consumed by what their boss thinks, what their friends are posting on social media, or how their life stacks up against someone else's highlight reel. They're so busy chasing external validation that they forget to chase their own potential. But here's the truth. Your life is a mirror. It reflects exactly what you choose to focus on. If you're constantly fixated on problems, distractions, or things outside your control, that's what will dominate your reality. You'll see obstacles everywhere, feel stuck, and wonder why nothing ever changes. But the moment you shift your focus inward, onto your growth, your habits, your discipline, everything starts to change. It's like flipping a switch. Suddenly the chaos around you fades, and you start to see a path forward. Confidence, success, fulfillment. These things don't come from the outside. They're not handed to you by someone else's approval or a stroke of luck. They come from within. And the only way to unlock them is to stop looking outward and start looking inward. Think about the people who inspire you, the ones who seem to have it all together, whether it's in their career, their relationships, or their personal growth. Do you think they got there by worrying about what everyone else was doing? Do you think they spent hours scrolling through social media, comparing themselves to others, or waiting for someone to give them permission to shine? No. They got there by making a choice to focus on themselves. They decided to prioritize their own growth over distractions, their own goals over other people's opinions, their own progress over perfection. And that choice changed everything. Now let's talk about what it means to focus on yourself. It's not about being selfish or cutting people out of your life. It's about recognizing that you are the architect of your own destiny. It's about understanding that your energy is your most valuable resource, and where you direct it determines the direction of your life. Every day, you wake up with a finite amount of energy, mental, emotional, physical. How you spend it shapes your future. Yet most people waste it on things that don't serve them. They pour their energy into overthinking, worrying about what others think, or dwelling on mistakes they can't change. They spend hours scrolling through feeds, comparing their behind the scenes to someone else's curated highlight reel. They let distractions and drama drain them dry, then wonder why they feel exhausted and unfulfilled. What if starting today, you made a different choice? What if you decided to protect your energy like it's the most precious thing you own? Because it is. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and asking yourself one simple question: how can I make myself 1% better today? Not 100%, not perfect, just 1% better than you were yesterday. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water instead of hitting snooze. Maybe it's writing down one goal for the day and taking a small step toward it. Maybe it's saying no to a conversation that pulls you into negativity. These choices might seem small, insignificant even, but they're not. They're the building blocks of transformation. They're the seeds you plant today that will grow into the life you want tomorrow. Let's break this down. Confidence. Everyone wants it. But most people think it's something you're either born with or you're not. That's a lie. Confidence isn't a gift. It's a skill. And like any skill, it's built through action. Every time you show up for yourself, every time you keep a promise to yourself, No matter how small, you're proving to yourself that you're capable. You're telling yourself, I can do this, I am enough. That's how confidence grows. Not from likes or comments, or someone else's approval, but from the quiet moments when you choose to follow through, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. Take a moment to think about your life right now. How often do you keep promises to yourself? If you're like most people, you're better at keeping commitments to others than you are to yourself. You'll show up for work, for your kids, for your friends, but when it comes to your own goals, your own dreams, you let them slide. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, or I'm not ready yet. But here's the thing. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you chip away at your confidence. You send yourself a message that your goals don't matter, that you don't matter, and that's a dangerous cycle to fall into. Now imagine flipping that script. Imagine making a commitment to yourself and keeping it. Maybe it's as simple as going for a 10-minute walk every day. Maybe it's writing one page of that book you've always wanted to write. Maybe it's saying no to a habit that's been holding you back. Whatever it is, when you follow through, you're not just building a habit. You're building trust in yourself. You're proving to yourself that you're reliable, that you're capable, that you're worth investing in. And that's where confidence comes from. It's not about waiting for the world to tell you you're good enough. It's about showing yourself you're good enough. One small action at a time. Now let's talk about success. Everyone defines it differently. Maybe for you it's a thriving career, a happy family, financial freedom, or simply feeling at peace with who you are. But no matter what success means to you, one thing is universal. It doesn't happen by accident. Success isn't about luck or talent, or waiting for the stars to align. It's about consistent, intentional action. It's about choosing discipline over comfort, progress over perfection, and your own path over someone else's timeline. Think about how much time you spend comparing yourself to others. You see someone on social media with a perfect house, a perfect job, a perfect life, and suddenly you feel like you're behind, like you're not doing enough, not achieving enough, not enough, period. But here's the truth. Comparison is a thief. It steals your joy, your focus, your energy. It pulls you away from your own journey and tricks you into thinking you need to be someone else to be successful. But the only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. That's it. If you focus on making one small improvement every day, whether it's learning a new skill, taking a step toward a goal, or simply showing up for yourself, you'll be amazed at where you end up in a year. Success isn't about one giant leap. It's not about waking up one day and transforming your life overnight. That's a fantasy we've been sold by movies and motivational quotes. Real success is built in the small, unglamorous moments. It's in the choice to get up early when you'd rather sleep. It's in the decision to work on your craft instead of binge watching a show. It's in the courage to take imperfect action, even when you're scared, even when you're not sure it'll work. Those moments might not feel like much in the present, but they stack up over time, like bricks in a foundation, until one day you look back and realize you've built something extraordinary. Let me tell you a story. There's a woman named Sarah who spent years feeling stuck. She had a job she didn't love, a routine that drained her, and a dream she kept pushing to the back of her mind. She wanted to start her own business, but every time she thought about it, she'd spiral into doubt. What if I fail? What will people think? I don't have the time or the money or the skills. She'd scroll through social media, see others living their dreams, and feel even worse. But one day, she made a decision. She was done waiting for the perfect moment. She was done comparing herself to others. She decided to focus on herself, one small step at a time. Sarah started by setting aside 30 minutes a day to work on her business idea. Just 30 minutes. She didn't have a grand plan or a ton of resources. She just started. She read books, watched tutorials, and took notes. Some days she felt like she was getting nowhere, but she kept going. She made a commitment to herself and refused to break it. Over time, those 30-minute sessions added up. She built a website, created a product, and started sharing it with the world. It wasn't perfect, but it was. And slowly, her confidence grew, her business grew, her life grew. Today, Sarah runs a thriving company, not because she was lucky or had it all figured out, but because she chose to focus on herself. She chose action over doubt, discipline over distraction, and progress over perfection. Sarah's story isn't unique. It's the story of anyone who's ever achieved something meaningful. The people who create extraordinary lives aren't special. They're not superhuman. They've simply learned to protect their focus and channel their energy into what matters. They've learned to stop waiting for permission, motivation, or the right time, and start taking action now. And the good news, you can do the same. Let's talk about energy for a moment. Your energy is like a bank account. Every day, you're given a certain amount to spend. How you spend it determines whether you're investing in your future or squandering it on things that don't matter. Most people are bankrupt by noon because they've spent their energy on distractions, scrolling through their phones, worrying about what others think, or dwelling on problems they can't solve. They're giving their energy to negativity, comparison, and fear, and then they wonder why they're exhausted, why they feel like they're spinning their wheels. But what if you treated your energy like the precious resource it is? What if you guarded it fiercely, refusing to let it leak into things that don't serve you? That's where boundaries come in. Boundaries aren't about being cold or selfish. They're about protecting your peace. They're about saying no to the things that drain you so you can say yes to the things that fuel you. Maybe it's saying no to a toxic relationship that's been pulling you down. Maybe it's turning off your phone for an hour so you can focus on your work. Maybe it's choosing to walk away from drama instead of engaging in it. Whatever it is, when you set boundaries, you're reclaiming your energy. You're taking back control of your life. Here's a challenge for you. For the next 30 days, commit to protecting your energy. Start small. Pick one thing that's been draining you, whether it's a habit, a person, or a distraction, and eliminate it. Replace it with something that moves you forward. Maybe it's 5 minutes of journaling to clear your mind. Maybe it's a walk to reconnect with yourself. Maybe it's saying no to something you've been saying yes to out of obligation. Whatever it is, make a promise to yourself and keep it. Because every time you do, you're not just building a habit, you're building a life. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. It's the thing that keeps most people stuck. It's the voice in your head that says, who are you to dream big? What if you mess up? What will people think? But here's the truth. Fear is a lie. It's a story you tell yourself, not a fact. And the only way to silence it is to take action. Fear thrives in inaction. It grows when you sit still, overthinking, waiting for the perfect moment. But when you move, when you take that first messy imperfect step, fear starts to lose its grip. Think about the last time you were scared to try something new. Maybe it was a job interview, a conversation, or a goal you wanted to pursue. What happened when you took that first step? Chances are, it wasn't as bad as you thought. Maybe it was hard. Maybe it was messy. But you survived. And every time you survive, you get stronger. You prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. That's how you beat fear. Not by waiting for it to go away, but by acting in spite of it. Here's another truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you the life you want. No one is going to give you confidence, success, or fulfillment. That's on you. But here's the flip side. You don't need anyone else. You already have everything you need inside you. You have the power to choose where you focus your energy. You have the ability to take small, consistent actions. You have the strength to say no to distractions and yes to your dreams. All it takes is a decision to stop waiting and start moving. Let's talk about distractions for a moment. We live in a world that's designed to pull your attention away from what matters. Social media, notifications, news, opinions. It's a constant barrage of noise. And if you're not careful, you'll get swept up in it. You'll spend your days reacting to the world instead of creating your own path. You'll wake up one day and realize you've been living someone else's life, chasing someone else's dreams, following someone else's rules. But it doesn't have to be that way. You have the power to silence the noise. You have the power to choose what deserves your attention. Try this. For one day, turn off your notifications. Put your phone on silent. Take a break from social media. Spend that time with yourself. Sit in silence. Go for a walk. Or write down your thoughts. At first it'll feel strange. Your mind will crave the distraction, the dopamine hit of a new notification. But if you push through, something incredible happens. You start to hear your own voice again. You start to reconnect with what matters to you. You start to see a path forward. Not because the world got quieter, but because you chose to tune it out. This is why successful people prioritize solitude. They know that clarity doesn't come from constant stimulation. It comes from stillness. It comes from stepping away from the chaos and reconnecting with yourself. When was the last time you spent time alone, really alone, without distractions? Most people avoid it because it's uncomfortable. They don't want to face their thoughts, their fears, but if you want to grow, if you want to create a life that feels authentic and fulfilling, you have to be willing to sit with yourself. You have to be willing to listen. Here's another challenge. Carve out 10 minutes a day for the next week to be alone with your thoughts. No phone, no music, no distractions, just you. Maybe you journal, maybe you meditate, maybe you just sit and think. Ask yourself, what do I want? What excites me? What's holding me back? The answers might surprise you. They might scare you, but they'll also set you free. Because once you know what you want, once you reconnect with your own voice, nothing can stop you. The opinions of others won't sway you. The noise of the world won't distract you. You'll move through life with a sense of purpose, knowing that your direction comes from within. Let's talk about habits for a moment. Your habits are the foundation of your life. They're the small daily choices that shape your future. Most people don't think about their habits. They just go through the motion. They hit snooze, scroll through their phone, eat whatever's convenient, and repeat. But those habits, those seemingly insignificant choices, are what determine where you end up. If your habits are built on distraction, procrastination, and self-doubt, that's the life you'll create. But if you build habits rooted in discipline, intention, and growth, you'll create a life that reflects your highest potential. Here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your life to change your habits. You don't need to wake up tomorrow and become a completely different person. Start small. Pick one habit that aligns with the life you want, and commit to it for 30 days. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning. Maybe it's writing down 3 things you're grateful for before bed. Maybe it's spending 15 minutes a day learning a new skill. Whatever it is, make it small enough that you can't fail. Because when you start small and stay consistent, something powerful happens. That habit becomes part of who you are. It stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like second nature. And once that happens, you're not chasing success anymore. You're creating it. Let's talk about consistency. Consistency is the secret sauce of success. It's not about doing something perfectly or doing it all at once. It's about showing up day after day. Even when you don't feel like, even when the results aren't immediate. Most people give up because they don't see progress right away. They go to the gym for a week and don't see a six-pack. So they quit. They work on a project for a month and don't get instant recognition. So they abandon it. But success doesn't work like that. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And the people who cross the finish line aren't the ones who start the fastest. They're the ones who keep going. Think about planting a seed. You put it in the ground. Water it every day and wait. For weeks, maybe months, nothing seems to happen. The soil looks the same. The surface is unchanged. But beneath the ground, something incredible is happening. Roots are forming. The foundation is being built. And one day when you least expect it, a sprout breaks through. That's how success works. The work you're doing today, the small, consistent actions you're taking, might not show results right away. But that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Growth is happening beneath the surface. Trust the process. Keep showing up. Because one day you'll look back and realize that every small step you took was leading you to something extraordinary. Now let's talk about validation. So many of us live our lives chasing approval. We want our parents to be proud of us, our friends to like us, our boss to value us, even strangers on the internet to validate us. We make choices based on what we think others will approve of. We hold back from pursuing our dreams because we're afraid of being judged. We shrink ourselves to fit into someone else's expectations. But here's the truth. The moment you stop seeking external validation is the moment you become free. Think about how much of your life has been shaped by other people's opinion. How many times have you hesitated to take a risk because you were afraid of what others would think? How many times have you said yes to something that didn't feel right just to please someone else? The need for approval is a trap. It keeps you stuck, second-guessing yourself, afraid to stand out or take chances. But no matter how hard you try to please everyone, someone will always disapprove. That's just life. So why waste your energy trying to fit into someone else's mold? The most successful, fulfilled people in the world are the ones who trust themselves. They don't wait for permission to chase their dreams. They don't need someone to tell them they're good enough. They decide they're good enough. They know their worth comes from within, not from likes, comments, or applause. And when you let go of the need for approval, something incredible happens. You start making choices that align with who you are. You start setting boundaries that protect your energy. You stop saying yes to things that drain you, and start saying yes to things that light you up. You discover who you really are, and you start living in a way that feels authentic and true. This isn't about ignoring the people in your life, or being selfish. It's about recognizing that your life is yours to live. You're the one who has to wake up every morning and face yourself in the mirror. You're the one who has to live with the choices you make. So ask yourself, are you living in a way that makes you proud? Or are you living to impress people who might not even notice you're gone? Stop seeking approval and start seeking alignment. What do you want? What excites you? What feels right? Even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else, that's your path. Follow it. Yes, it'll be uncomfortable at first. When you stop chasing validation, people will notice. Some will criticize you. Some will call you selfish. Some will try to pull you back into the version of yourself that made them comfortable. Let them. Your job isn't to make others comfortable. It's to live your truth. And the irony is, when you stop seeking approval, people start respecting you more. Confidence is magnetic. People are drawn to those who know who they are, and don't apologize for it. But you can't fake. True confidence comes from trusting yourself, from making choices that align with your values, from proving to yourself that you're strong enough to stand on your own. So here's my final challenge to you. Starting today, make a decision to focus on yourself, not in a self-absorbed way, but in a self-empowered way. Protect your energy, set boundaries, silence the noise, take small, consistent actions toward your goals. Stop waiting for permission, motivation, or the perfect moment. You don't need them. You already have everything you need to create the life you want. You just have to choose it. Your life is happening right now, in this moment. Every choice you make today is shaping your future. So choose wisely. Choose yourself. Choose growth. Choose discipline. Choose action. Because when you focus on yourself, when you pour your energy into becoming the best version of you, everything else, your relationships, your career, your happiness, will fall into place. The world will always be noisy, full of distractions and opinions, but you have the power to tune it out. You have the power to decide where your energy goes. And when you direct it toward yourself, toward your growth, your dreams, your truth, you'll be amazed at what you can create. So stand up, take a deep breath, and decide right now that you're done waiting, you're done comparing, you're done seeking approval, you're ready to focus on yourself. Because when you do, the life you've always dreamed of isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Go out there and make it happen.